discussing this. So you were saying this weekend, it's not necessarily from Joaquin, this heavy rains? Or
No, it's all part of the pattern.
It's all part of the pattern?
You got to remember, Joaquin is a very consolidated storm. This is not a storm that is like a Sandy that was so large that got embedded with an upper low. This is a consolidated storm. It is up and it is out. There's always been two scenarios, up and in or up and out. There was no middle ground. It's up and out. We do have to stay vigilant across Cape Cod, perhaps, that maybe it can get far enough west early next week that there could be some impact. But what's really going on along the East Coast is not Joaquin.
Okay, what is going on here?
Look at the satellite picture. Yeah. Look at the satellite picture here. All right, what do you have going on? Here's Joaquin. Here is the frontal boundary that came off the East Coast earlier this week. That's why while Monday, we started off, it was like getting hit with a wet sponge walking outside. It was so humid. Now it's brisk and chilly, but what's really going on is you've got this upper level low that's developing in the southeast. I can show it to you over here so you can see a little better here on my 500 millibar. What you're looking at
Hi, Middletown, Rhode Island.
See this upper low? Well, what happened is low pressure, winds are counterclockwise, so what's happening now, you're just getting this fetch of tropical moisture coming in from the Atlantic. Where's the tropical moisture now? It's right off the coast. Look at the infrared satellite picture. You see, you've got all this moisture off the coast right now, and what's going to end up happening with this upper low, it's going to take this and it's going to ram it inland. Now that's already occurring on the radar. Look at the I mean, this is just a soaking rain.
Yeah,
look
wow,
at this,
look at all that.
So you've got this now. And what's going to end up happening as this upper low digs underneath, this rain band, which is like this, is going to start shifting southward. And then as we get into tomorrow, you are going to get a focused heavy rain band. Remember for those of you that remember the lake effect snow, remember that just buried areas south of Buffalo in November, how it was a very narrow and focused band. This is similar. Totally different process, but you're going to get this band of heavy rain that's going to go across South Carolina and eventually get in there. This, you know,
someone said, "Holy crap!"
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's a lot of rain.
It's a lot of rain, and when you look at that, that's what it's going to be. This focused, heavy band. Somewhere in here across South Carolina, I mean, we're looking at 6 to 12 inches of rain. It's not 6 to 12 inches of snow, 6 to 12 inches of rain. If that happens, there's going to be widespread flooding. I think the entire state of South Carolina at least has to be worried about that, along with southern North Carolina. Now, the upstate of South Carolina, the northern part of the state, that has elevations.
Someone said no hurricane though, right?
No, the hurricane's offshore, it's up and out. This is not the hurricane.
Okay.
This is tropical moisture that's going to be wrapped in around this upper low. And what that upper low is going to do, it's going to focus it into a narrow band as we get into the weekend. And that focused narrow band is where you're going to get excessive amounts of rain. And we're really worried about the upstate of South Carolina because you have to remember higher elevations, very hilly, that there could be problems with mudslides. There's going to be tremendous flooding. The Notre Dame game is at Clemson, in Clemson, South Carolina. That is in the upstate of South Carolina. That game is in jeopardy because the rain's already going to be starting tonight, and it's going to pour all day Saturday. They kick off at 8 o'clock. By that time, they may already have 7-8 inches of rain on the ground. And if that happens, widespread flooding, travel disruptions, you wonder if there may be some power outages. I'm not sure about that. But flooding is a huge concern in here. And if you get this heavy rain band, and we are going to get it, Amy, the question is exactly where.
Right. That's what everyone's asking. Will it hit the Delaware, Philadelphia area?
No. This rain is down into the Carolinas.
Okay.
Now, there's going to be rain and drizzle on Saturday all across the Mid-Atlantic. But it's not going to be the heavy soaking rain. The heavy rain is down into the Carolinas this weekend, and that's where your flooding is going to be.
So Virginia Beach, well, someone just asked about Virginia Beach.
Now, you have another story going on here. the combination of our strong area high pressure that brought in the dry air and lower pressure is driving this wind out of the east-northeast that is going to be persistent all weekend. So you're going to have beach erosion and coastal flooding all weekend because of this persistent wind coming in out of the east-northeast. That's going to be Cape Cod, the Long Island Sound, the entire Jersey coast, Delaware, Maryland, all the way down to about Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, that you're going to have this coastal flooding.
Okay.
Actually, I can show you a little better here so you
Amanda Pilot Girl, where are you?
So this is what we're talking about here. This red is where you're going to get coastal flooding and beach erosion right through the weekend.
Okay.
It has, and a lot of that is because most of it is the wind coming in out of the north-northeast. Joaquin is out and away. It is not having a direct impact. It's the weather pattern that Joaquin is in that's producing this. So no, this rain is not because of
Someone
Joaquin.
said Athens.
Athens, Georgia.
Yeah.
They're playing a football game against Alabama that kicks off at 3:30. That heavy rain band that I'm talking about in South Carolina may shift into that area during the second half of the game.
Okay.
While I don't believe Athens is going to get 6 to 12 inches of rain, I do think they're going to get 3 to 6, or at least a few inches of rain, and the heaviest will be coming down in that game. And let me explain something.
Mm-hmm.
That heavy rain band, it'll look like a monsoon. Just blinding rain, low visibility. That's what I'm talking about. And depending upon Death Valley, which is the Memorial Stadium in Clemson,
right,
or Sanford Stadium, which is in Athens, depending on their drainage on the field, you may get puddling of water on the field. It could be a real mess.
Wow. Yeah, someone said, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for all the updates, Bernie. I appreciate it. All right,
My
thank
pleasure.
you.